things. Remember that in those clubbing spaces, there are people there who are sex alchemists, right? They create money from, that sexual alchemy. And they are looking for young girls who are not aware of the power that they carry, who are not aware of the power of the womb, Our men ejaculate. I just feel like men ejaculate too much. They just ejaculate. And it's taking power from them.
Periods are work, man, guys.
They are.
Every single month we go through this week that's so difficult.
Yes. But that week is such a holy week. Don't flush it in the toilet. Don't. It's such a sacred.
What?
Don't flush it in the toilet. Just let it go. It's amazing. Other people will even take the pad and put it in the dustbin and then you just go. What?
Kanti, what are we supposed to do? That's what we all do.
In a world where Africans have lost their roots, it has become of vital importance to document our ways. In an effort to reverse the brainwashing of the past, where we were made to believe our ways are demonic, we are pressed to create dignified and respectful platforms to unpack our spiritual ways. The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the beliefs or position of this channel, its hosts, or affiliates. This podcast is a platform for open discussions and exploration of various perspectives, including controversial and unconventional ideas. We encourage viewers to think critically, do their own research, and form their own opinions. The content is for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be taken as fact, advice, or an endorsement of any specific viewpoint. Viewers' discretion is advised.
MOYA light, MOYA bright. Welcome to another episode of MOYA Podcast. Thank you so much for all the support, guys. We see you. We're growing steady, slow and steady wins the race. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Especially thank you to the members who are helping us keep the lights on every single month. Remember to watch the adverts to the end. And also, guys, comment section, please. We love you guys in there. We love the debates that go on in there. Please continue. As usual, we've got another teacher for you with the education you're not going to get at the Mlungu schools. On today's show, we've got Reverend Tshidi Mar Sophia Tsimile, who is going to give us a tidbit about spirituality, relationships, how we relate. I saw that you were doing, well, let me say hi first.
Yes. Hello, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming through. I saw on your social media that you are dealing with relationships and love. I'm going right in. I'm not even giving you a chance to swim in.
Yes.
But that's the space that we're in right now. Our families are broken. Our families need work. So let's start there. The relationship between man and woman.
Yes.
What's happening?
Okay. So let me start maybe by giving you a background of my work in that aspect of things. Okay. Usually when we go into relationships or when we go into sex, we go into the space of science, which is psychology, in order, to harmonize, that aspect of our lives. But in my work, I go into spirit, I go into the soul of the relationship, and then we deal with people. And this is because, I've been a student of spirit for a very long time. And one of the things that I learned from one of my teachers, and that day Zulu Matabo Zulu, was that you can't just work with one dimension of things, And also when we go into science, which is psychology, we are going into the Western way of dealing with things.
Yes.
So how had we been doing that? How had we been harmonizing relationships, marriages, and sex in the African context? Because if we are just running to psychology, we are running into a very young science, you know, a very young science. The first degree or doctorate of psychology was issued out like 200 years ago, you know.
Sure.
But we had been doing things before then, you know. So yeah, so that's how I work with couples. That is how I work with also sexuality. We need to maybe look at things just not from you know, the collective narrative of indoda must, umfazi must, you know. Yeah, so that is what I do. And also just bringing the awareness of the importance of understanding your sexual energy, not just understanding sex from performance, but from from the fact that it is your life force, you know.
Essence yakhona.
Yes, that you create with it, but
Sure.
you're not just creating babies, you are creating your life with it. So yeah, I think our families and our family units need to not only look at symptoms, because everything that we talk about on social media is symptoms.
Yes.
You know, we need to go to the root of things. How do we harmonize marriages, relationships from that space of root? How do we find resonance, you know, with our surroundings and each other?
You know, girls, we love this topic.
Yeah.
So I want you to give us a background of how you got into the healing space now, and why specifically relationships and love and sexuality. What was your journey? Like you say, you met Ntate Zulu Matabo. What leads you to there? What happens? You know?
Yes.
Yes, your story.
Yeah. I'm from a family of possibility. These are womb healers. These are people who, you know, work with the womb, you know. At my childhood home, you know, there'd always be women coming in, you know, women with womb pains, and then my grandmother would cook herbs and then give them, and then, you know, that's how they would get healed. Hofola, you know, and I'll come to Waikibuaka Hofola. And others would have fertility issues, and then they would come, and then there were herbs. And so I was kind of like a student, you know, to my grandmother, because I'd go get that for me. I'm there and I know how to do that. And then my mother also, who just passed on, you know, 2 months ago, also is a healer, and I don't want to say was. Yeah.
Because you know, in our context, where the spirit lives with us, and your mom is here with us anyways.
Yes.
So then, what happens?
Yeah. So, growing up as a child, I'd be that child who's put on the table every day in the morning. What did you dream about, you know? And then they would say, oh, she dreamt of this. I remember one day, I woke up and they put me on the table like they usually do, the kitchen table. And they say, what did you dream about? And I said, I dreamt Abuti Shimani came, and in his car, in the boot, there was pour for oil, twikiri, you know. And through Bob, by 2 o'clock he came, and there were those things in the car. So what then my grandparents made me aware of is that, you know, I'm a gifted child. And then they did a ceremony to say, no, at least it's a matric. It's a matric, and then she will start after, you know, matric. So when I was at school, I got taken now by the born again movement. Kabamo, and then shortly after that, I was married. I got married young.
What's young?
21. Yeah, 21 when I got married.
Sure. And you're now in the born again Christian church.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah. But now there is a thing that keeps calling me to who I am, I keep looking for answers, because then I have a child, I have a husband that I must know so much about, but I don't know myself. So our first house was in Sandton, in the Sandton area. So opposite there was a woman. I would see these cars, and I went to her, hey, nenzani lana, and she said, no, you can come, only to find that it's a space of meditation, and they were Buddhists. So at some point, I was a practicing Buddhist, because I found out, oh my God, this thing actually works. This meditation stuff actually works. But then, because I was brought up in a Christian background, I kept oscillating from Christianity to Buddhism.
Yes.
You oscillate when the Buddhist says, no, everything is your fault. Everything, you create everything. I'll be like, no, let me go to Christianity where nothing is my fault,
Yes.
If I'm wrong, it's the devil.
Yes.
If I'm good, it's Jesus, So I kept oscillating like that. But then that hunger to want to know more about God, kept me open to other philosophies. So I went from studying Eastern philosophy. I studied the Kabbalah, then I dropped that, and then I was a Kabbalist. But everything
Spirits.
brought me back to here, to home, to where I am now. So after I got divorced, because divorce happened. I was.
How old are you now when you get divorced?
So I'm 38.
Okay.
I'm 35, 38. Oh, 36, somewhere there.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I get divorced, and I divorce. Actually, I'm the one that said, no, this is it. My life in Kopakopane, life in Kopakopane. I remember one day even going, because we know each other outside this, we've known each other for 19 years. Yes. So I remember going to your sister, because we had that, I call it a child exchange program. When she's working, Malaika would come, and if I'm working, my children would go to her. And I said to her, hey man, what better man? Wait, akina liaboroto, akina next. And she said to me, you know what, bring your children here, go home, and just go home. I said, what will I say when I get home? She said this. She said, into zagini is your quarter. That's what she said. And then I went home. When I believe that is when I got clarity. That is when I even got, I was okay with the fact that, okay, I can actually leave this marriage. So now, outside marriage, I am still very much, under the umbrella of the born again movement. Everything, but it doesn't mean that because you are there, then things just go away. I'm still experiencing things. I'm still dreaming, and I go to Pastor, Pastor man, I'm dreaming this thing. I dreamed that this aunt of mine telling me that my cousin, they coming to take my cousin, and my cousin died. Pastor, devil, we need to deliverance, So at that time, my sexuality was just flat. It happened while I was still towards the end of my marriage. I didn't want sex. I just didn't want sex. So outside marriage, I had to track back. Where did I lose that? And I found that I lost it in the marriage. Because before then I was, even in the marriage, early stages of the marriage, I mean, girl, man, juicy and all. But how then did I lose it? A friend says, at that time I was working for a broadcaster. A friend said, hey man, you know, there's a lady that once helped me with my sexuality when I was going through something like that. Go see her. She was in Hurlingham. And she said, she is a sexologist. I said, a sex or what? Because, you know, growing up in the township, we didn't have a psychologist. We didn't have a sexologist. We had a dentist, you know. So I went to see the sexologist, and she helped me so much with identifying my pleasure points. I didn't know, you know, what, you know, where are my pleasure points. I didn't know why I had the clit. Why do I have this thing? I didn't ask you about the sensitivity of language here.
Be free.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so she taught me these things, and I was like, wow. So you're called a sexologist. How did you study that? And then she told me, and I started now registering, and, you know, I studied sexology. Now, remember, I have a background of Eastern philosophy. Now, there's sexuality now, it's opening up now to the spirituality of it.
Sure.
Now I get to understand the power of the womb. I get to understand the power of sexual energy. I get to understand the body. I get to understand. So I'm in that tantra space. Okay. And not that with, you know, the background that I have from home, I didn't understand these things. I did, but I didn't have the language for it, because now they say, no, just do that, bring that thing, mix here, and then womb and I will turn. But now I have a language for it. Sure. So when I was studying sexology, I then opened a movement called Beautiful Vibes, which was really to teach women about you know, their pleasure points. I remember going to my mom's church, and I said, you have to give me a stage because I want to talk to women. And I said, do you know you have a clit, and that thing is your pleasure button. It's just there to give you pleasure. It's not there to check your temperature or anything or high blood. It's just for your pleasure, you know. So that is how the movement grew. I started a Facebook group. It started with 6 women that I know, and now we are at, I don't know, 17,000. You know, women from all over, you know, from all over. So that has been my journey, and then I continued then, you know, with the science also of psychology, you know. But in that, I also found that when we, you know, when we just base our knowledge and how we do things on the Western psychology, and Rona as Africans, there's somewhere where we don't resonate, we don't connect 100%, because we have our ways of doing things. Okay. For instance, now there is such a big thing around mental health. Yeah, Africans had been healing mental health without talk therapy, without DPLC, without there has been you know, the ways that we do things, and things they long hore we know they work. We've seen them work, you know. So yeah. So your question was, how did I get here to be a healer and so on? So in my journey, I then I call it a silent spirituality. A silent spirituality is when I found myself researching things that I cannot talk about, you know, researching things that I find, wow, if I were to put this out, then I feel like I'll be rejected. So in that, then I meet teachers, you know. I have a teacher, I have different teachers, you know, along the way. Along my path, I've had different teachers, and I'm mentioning that they Zulu Matabo because I know he was your teacher,
Yes.
and yeah, so I became his student in the Basotho cosmology, and I got to understand deep. When you understand yourself, other things like how you do relationships, how you do sex, how you do family, it's different. It becomes different because you know yourself. You know that omudumedi, you know that you come from the sun. When you really get into the depth of who you really are. So yeah, that's how I got to be here where I am. With regards to why I kept studying to get the certificates, to get all the paper things that I have. It was just so I have a language so that I'm able to then speak to my generation and become a healer that heals her generation in the frequency of the generation.
Yes. Yes.
Because if I were to do things according to the way my grandmother did them, my generation might not catch me, So it was very important that I do that. And Libo Sebeletsi, I studied, with an international organization called the Priestesses of the Rose. I did that, and just so I get to understand, I get to understand this. They spoke to me in a way ya hore ke a understand, and it's just a reference to what I grew up knowing.
Yes.
The power of knowing the elements, the power of knowing different medicines and how these medicines can be able to support us. When you go into botanical medicine, when you go into aqua medicine, when you go into volcanic medicine, then how you work with that. So yeah, that's me.
I want to take us back a little bit. We mentioned the clit.
Yes.
And from you speaking was actually fascinating to realize that what you are saying is the sole purpose of the clit is for pleasure.
Yes.
Which is interesting because men, their penis is to procreate, just like the vagina. So isn't it interesting that women have got this pleasure?
Yes, because the law of woman is pleasure. A woman who is not pleasured doesn't thrive.
Yes.
A woman whose life doesn't nurture them doesn't thrive. That's why women are coached by the system to begezela matata, because in an actual fact, a woman that doesn't begezela matata, a woman who allows her life to nurture them,
Yes.
thrives.
Yes.
Because that is the law of woman. It is that it's pleasure, it's juiciness, it's pleasure. So yeah, and now when you talk about the penis as well, with the awareness and awakening that I drive with men, is to say that your penis is not just the thing that you use to penetrate. Your penis is a wand. It's like a magic wand. You can use it to lift up a woman or to bring them down. So when you understand and you respect the energy of the penis, also you as a woman, you are able to read the person. You are able to audit the energy of the person before they can penetrate you. So it's important that we are aware of ourselves, even from the energetics of what makes us. I do not call myself a sexologist or a psychologist. I don't, because I know that I can't call myself that, because that is science-based. Whereas I am about spirit, I'm about science, I'm about experiences as well. So I call myself a conscious sexuality educator and coach, because we have to be conscious. We have to be conscious of our needs and our wants in the sex space. We have to be conscious also in how we communicate those needs and those ones. It is important. It is imperative that you have a language for how you present or how you express yourself in the sex space. Why? Because your sexuality is your soul's soul way of expressing itself in the sexual space. You see, so it's very important. One of my mottos and my taglines is that you bring your Trinity to the table. You bring your sexuality, your sensuality, and you bring yourself. You bring your sensuality, you bring your sexuality, you bring your spirituality. Those three things are very important for you to connect with. So that there's a question that young people are asked. I don't know, they didn't ask us that question. What do you bring to the table? So the answer is, I'm bringing my Trinity to the table. I'm bringing my sexuality, my sensuality, and my spirituality to the table.
But what about this perception that young women especially are abusing their sexuality and using it in a transactional way? We see a lot of the clubbing that's going on. You can see that the power of the sexuality is being misused in some circumstances.
Yes. Once you become aware of your sexual energy, you won't sleep around. Once you become when that awareness comes, you will not sleep around. You'll be very intentional with how you use your sexual energy. I don't like the word use, but how you engage within that your sexual energy, because remember that in those clubbing spaces, there are people there who are sex alchemists, right? They create money from that sexual alchemy, and they are looking for young girls who are not aware of the power that they carry, who are not aware of the power of the womb. I sometimes say to women, bana ba di blessee, if you knew what happens when you engage sexually with a man, then utla change hore actually who is a blesser here, because I'm the blesser, me with my womb energy, I'm the blesser, and you are coming with with the money. It will change, because these women are actually blessers, and the men are the blessees. They are just bringing money. Yes, they are bringing money because they understand the power of, entering a temple. You cannot show up in a temple empty-handed, and they understand that exchange. So if we were to teach young women about that the sacredness of their sexuality, and bring them to consciousness also of who they are, consciousness of who understand how a man, sex is such a it's foundation of creation,
Exactly.
Yes, it's what created. We were created through sex,
Powerful thing.
and everything comes through the womb, And when I say everything, I mean it, but let's keep it at a human context. Nothing, no man comes through the throat. No man comes through, or somebody coughed and there was a baby boy. They come through the womb. Even Jesus Christ, even Buddha, everybody had to wait for the right womb in order to come here on earth. Yeah.
So there's a lot of shame around masturbation and sexuality. When should a woman or a man, I suppose, start engaging their sexual energy? I mean, what is too young?
What is too young? Maybe let me just answer it from, where I think the question ended, or where the question began: masturbation and sexuality and shame. So masturbation is the foundation of human sexuality.
Yes.
Okay, it is that foundation. So the shame comes from not being given the right information. And I want to say that what I mean about the right information, I always say the truth sets people free, but it is truthfulness that sets people free. The difference there is that truth is information, but truthfulness is information, experienced information.
Okay.
So if we then, start talking to children about their sexuality, because they do feel something, they do feel there's something happening here, and they start touching themselves. They say, don't touch, don't touch, don't touch. They learn there is something wrong with what I am experiencing, So, but if they are taught that, what you are experiencing is natural, what you are experiencing is natural. But it doesn't mean that because you are experiencing it, then you must
act on it.
You must act on it,
Yes.
And also to say, this thing is actually pleasurable.
Yes. Yes.
Not just when you engage in sex, you're gonna end up in a hospital somewhere, because that's what we teach our children. So you'll pregnant, meaning that you'll end up in hospital, or you're gonna catch infections, you're gonna end up in hospital. To say yes, that can happen, but you must also understand that this thing is pleasurable, so that when they go try it, they don't come back to say, you lied, Wena. This thing, it's pleasurable, and start now wanting to steal that pleasure. So the thrill comes from, sex is imnat, So with when it comes to children, I say we have to start education at an early age. When a child, starts knowing that a granny went to Jesus or to the other world, then they must know that from that other world there are people that come, and then how do they come here on earth? Sex education should start at an early age. And your question was, how young is too young, right? I think with information that is appropriate for whichever particular stage of life, then we will not have too young. If my grandson comes and say, so where do babies come from? That story of, no, they came through a bed, and then that bed came, and it's important to say, no, it's because your mom and your dad love each other. And because they love each other, they are married. And now married people have to create babies. And how do they create babies? They sleep together, and maybe without even going too graphic, But they must know that with mommy and daddy are in the bedroom, there is something that's happening there, which is something that we should not be, feel like, what are they doing there? Yes, I think it has to be information that is age appropriate. Yeah.
And then to the shame, how do we take away this? Because even as adults, we're ashamed of masturbation. I mean, you can see even men shame each other about masturbation and...
Yeah, yeah. The shame comes from the foundation of
Yes,
how
our youth, yes.
as a collective we approach sex, we approach masturbation. Remember also, Ntsiki, that most people, their first experience of sex is through pornography. So masturbation, sexuality is then put in that very, same platform as pornography now when you start,
Pivot.
yeah, or pivot. But that shouldn't be the case. When we educate people in, just even from that, from science, masturbation is the foundation of your sexuality, right? But also that education should come with the energetic awareness of it. Because if you say to people masturbate, then people will just masturbate and it can go south, it can just go south. So, but when a person understands that, oh, I am doing this and I am working with my sexual energy, and the aim is to maybe know where are my pleasure points. For men, I'm doing it because I want to master my level of sensitivity, my level of penile sensitivity. Maybe I'm doing it because I just want to have my energy flow,
Yes.
from my root to my sacral,
Yes.
to my solar, to my heart, to my throat, Why ke tjho jwalo ke bua about the root? The fact that you feel your sexual energy in your genitals, it only means that force of gravity has pulled it there. Wow. But it doesn't mean that because we are seated or we are eating or we are working, then our sexual energy is not there. How in education you think that your sexual energy comes at the time where someone says, hey, you're sexy, or then it comes. It's always there, but it gets pulled to your root, to your genitals, by the force of gravity, So in sacred sexuality, that's one of the teachings, of how to work with it and pull it from the root to the sacral, to your solar, to your heart, to your throat, to your crown, and have it circulate, your body, to your crown, to your soul, and then
is that
it
what
comes
sex
back.
does? It moves the energy up your body.
No, you it's a skill that you learn.
Yes, I'm saying, is that the
up.
actual act of sex? Is that what it does?
It should be that way.
Oh, it
Do you
should
understand?
be.
But because we are taught genital orientated sex, we just want to take it and just push it out, like this thing must just come out of my body, But in an actual fact, your sexual energy should not be something that you feel like, oh, I have to get this off. It's something that should be a medicine to your body. It should be a medicine, to energy points that are blocked, even within your system. And even as I say, your crown, and I'm not going high up into your other bodies, because we are physical beings, but we also have energetic bodies,
Yes.
And those energetic bodies can be built through your sexual energy. So we are supposed to not have the mind of thinking that masturbation is just about releasing and releasing and a relief, especially for men. You know, we are a people by ilong hore, our men ejaculate. I just feel like men ejaculate too much. They just ejaculate, and it's taking power from them. It is taking power from them. If I can tell you that people that come to me to work their sexual energy in a way that benefits them, you find that it is executives, it is leaders, you know, people who know that their ejaculation is just taking them down somewhat.
Yes.
You know, people who know that by retaining their seed, you know, their seed then works ka tsela ya gore it empowers them, you know. Their seed works in a way that even when they go into the workspace, into business, you know, a man who masters that art, you see them in their eyes.
Yeah.
Their eyes are sharp, you know. They can stand and speak into other men. Why? Because they've retained their seed. So the one who released their seed last night, they're still trying to restore themselves, you know, energetically, and then you find that they are kind of like in the feminine aspect, or the feminine side of the room. The one who has retained their sperm, the one who has retained their seed, because they've retained their consciousness. They didn't just let it out and died, you know. They didn't just let it out to die. They've retained it. So it's important. I think that's my next mission, you know, to just get men to understand that ejaculation is not orgasm. It happens, yes, during orgasm, but it is not orgasm. We believe that a harare round one, or ejaculation one, ejaculation two, ejaculation three. It's not. Ejaculation is separate from orgasm.
Whoa. Unpack that for us some more.
Ejaculation is separate from orgasm. One is energetic. Orgasm is energetic. When we look, remember that we spoke about the performance of sex performance, which is you doing it, right? And then we also spoke about the energy of it, okay?
Yes.
So in the performance and the act of sex, because you are engaging your physical body,
Yes.
right? There will be fluids that
Yes.
come out, but those fluids also carry your energy. They carry your consciousness,
Yes.
right? And then now when we talk about orgasm, we are talking about, you know, we are talking about a phenomenon where you open up, right? And you open up and you are in that space of creation. You are in that space where time is still. You are in that space where you get to even connect with your divine. That's why people say, oh my God, when they experience orgasm, because it's such a divine space to be. You know, it's a space of creation. It's a space of prayer. It is a space where people create. But now, you ask the difference. Ejaculation happens sometimes because orgasm happens, but with a person who is trained, you know, they can experience the orgasm without releasing their seed.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is that why women sometimes cry during sex? What's that connected to?
Women cry, and men, you know, they will cry because sex opens you up. You know, that's why when you go to if you're gonna go to healing spaces, they will tell you not to have sex, right?
Oh.
Because it opens you, it opens up your field.
Yes.
It opens you in such a humongous way. So it opens. Remember, we spoke about other energetic bodies. It opens up your emotional body. It opens up your. It just opens you up. So the crying is that you are open. You are
Vulnerable.
open. You are vulnerable. You are open. And vulnerability. What is vulnerability? Vulnerability is you just showing, things about you, or sharing something about you that you wouldn't necessarily share with the public, or maybe with another person. But if you are with this one person that you trust, and that person has to be safe, they have to be a safe space, to be able to see your vulnerability. Vulnerability is divine. Vulnerability is power, the same as Ronamo, South Africa. We are a very vulnerable people. South Africa is a very vulnerable. We are vulnerable. We are vulnerable, and that's why we are magical people. You see, when you talk about the secrets of the land, you will understand that South Africa is vulnerable. That's why everyone can come here, and we just allow people to come, because we are vulnerable. Vulnerable is not weakness. But being vulnerable, vulnerability is not weakness. It is power. It is magical. We are a magical people. Our land is magical. It's just that now I feel like, or maybe let me not say it's just a feeling. It is something that I know, if you are given access to the secrets of the land. South Africa right now is going through menopause, and I want to unpack what I'm saying. Oh, can I? Yes, let's go. South Africa is in that space, some menopause, so overheating inside, where we are not allowing penetration, menopause. We are not allowing penetration because we are in a space of detoxing and restoration. So menopause is exactly that. Even for women, if the women who are watching this and they are in that menopausal state, I want you to know that the information that you are given about menopause is not true. Menopause doesn't mean that you are dying. Menopause means that you are detoxing. It means that you are being restored. You are being restored from, your hormones are going from reproduction, to being regenerative. So there has to be that time where you clear, where you pause, and there is the detox happens. That's why you feel the heat. That's why you feel, like you wake up, and if it does not, something does not go according to, alignment, you're just there like, you're just there, putting things in order. We are at that space where we are putting things in order. We are overheating. We don't want to be penetrated because we are detoxing, but because restoration is coming. So all my queens who are going through menopause, I want you to know that it doesn't mean that you are dying. It just means that you are detoxing in order to be restored from all the giving that you have been doing, during your years when you were younger.
Periods are work, man, guys.
They are.
Every single month we go through this week that's so difficult.
Yes, yes. But that week is such a holy week. It's such a divine week that, I miss my blood because I'm fully menopausal.
Yes.
I miss my blood. I miss my blood. I'm telling you, I do. Oh my God. I miss my blood so much that I celebrate my daughters every month, when they wake up and they're like, oh, the sheets all start getting, wow, ooh, this is it. Because I understand the power of that blood. I understand the power of the womb. I celebrate their blood. I teach them, about, just taking care of that blood. Don't flush it in the toilet. Don't. It's such a sacred.
What?
Don't flush it in the toilet. Just let it go. It's amazing. Other people will even take the pad and put it in the dustbin, and then it just goes. What?
Kanti, what are we supposed to do? That's what we all do. What are we meant to be doing?
I told you I was brought up by my grandmother. Yes. And
Pela pads are white things, so please.
Yes. And Bato Baba Holo, they will teach you to use a cloth.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You take that cloth. And now they are called what pads? They are called.
Yes.
Yeah, I see Hore there.
Yes, they're coming back, yes.
Because when you take that blood and you wash it,
yes,
it heals you.
Yes.
When you take it and you mix it with the waters, it heals you. It gives back to you, that smell of blood, you just interacting with your blood, it heals you. So if you just take it and do that separation of, this is my blood and I'm just going to put it in the dustbin, and there's a man that's going to take that dustbin and go put it somewhere, and it's going to rot somewhere at a matikitwani somewhere. Do you see what you are doing with your womb, with your energy, with that thing that is so divine? Pella, that blood is that blood is the blood that was supposed to create a whole human.
Yes.
And it's coming out, and you are taking it because you are taught that it is dirty, it is filth. It's not. It's not. It is not. Now at my house, nobody takes their blood to the dustbin. No.
Flip.
You wash it. You wash your blood and you give it to Mother Earth.
Oh.
You wash that blood and you give it to Mother Earth. I grew up at a time where there was a lot of unrest, not 1976, because I'm sure you think in 1976. In 1976, I was a baby. I'm not youth of 76. Yes. I'm youth of 86.
Yes.
Yes. So a couple 86, there was a unrest. And we would see people being killed, Abulawake, Maburu. And I remember my grandmother would hold prayers. She would get women to come and then they pray. And after they prayed, they would go on the other side of, there was a school, and they would go on the other side and they would just pray there, because they are praying for their children who are being killed. And one day, I remember her one day saying, the earth wants blood. The earth wants blood. And that is why our children are killed like this. And she got women to wash their blood and just give it to the earth. And I believe that was, the way she and the women who were around her contributed to to the peace that we that we saw around around that. So she'd always say, leave men to do men's things when it's at Totabasadi. And in Totabasadi, it's like knowing what to do with your blood, you know, knowing the importance of that blood, knowing that blood is not dirty, evil, and needs to, you know, and also knowing that in that week when you feel miserable and pain, there's pain and there's, you know, all of that, knowing that that is a language, you know, that is a language you should listen and know what is your womb communicating in that month. Kana kwangwe, you are bleeding and you are actually cleansing something that's happening in the collective, especially women healers, you know. I encourage women healers, my students, you know, because I have people that I train in what I'm talking about now, womb healing and healing in general. You know, I always say that there is a thing called shamanic bleeding. When you bleed and you know that you are not just bleeding because it's that time of the month. You are bleeding because your womb is communicating something. You are bleeding because your womb is connected to the vibrations of Mother Earth. Mother Earth is communicating something and your womb is just expressing. You know, it's expressing that. So you take that blood, you take it back to the earth. We should not be throwing our blood in the dustbin. We should not be throwing our blood, even if you are using the tampons. So what's that tampon?
What?
Yes, it's your blood. It is your blood. There are people now, I keep on they even paying women who are their blood. Why? It's your blood. It's magical. It's powerful.
And come to think of it, you know, it would be because that's what's running inside. That's the fluid inside you.
Yes.
That's the life fluid inside you. And everything that's exposed outside of you doesn't have that. So if you can put it on the outside too, there would be magic, valid, because your inside is matching your outside now.
Yes, yes. And blood is life.
Yes.
Blood is life. And that is the blood that women experience without trauma. No, there's no one that hurts you in order for us to see that blood. It just comes, you know. It is blood that shows you that you carry the energy of the mother, of them, the primordial mother. It is a language and a sign that you and the mother, you know, you and the mother are one.
Sure.
We need to take care of our blood. We need to take care of our sexual energy. We need to take care of it in a sense, it should not just be you know, like a vehicle of pleasure. You know, sex should not just be a vehicle of pleasure, but it should also be a space of creation, a space where you are creating your life. You are creating your life intentionally so. You are creating your life. You are taking care of your blood. You are taking care of your womb. You are not just taking your body and everything and giving it to medicine and say, oh, take my body, take my womb, you know. Yeah, we all should be womb whisperers.
The thing of the womb is so powerful, and it's so hard to believe that women are a portal, basically. Our wombs, our vaginas are a portal into the ancestral world, clearly, if we are what people come through.
Yes, definitely. Definitely, your womb is a portal. It is a portal of spirit. You know, when you read about the womb in the Bible, it says, I knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb, and I consecrated you there. So your womb is a space of consecration. It is a space where souls, have a meeting with the Creator
Yes.
to be given mandates of what to do here on earth. So the womb is just such a powerful, it's such a powerful space, and I think that is why there is so much resistance, when it comes to womb nurturing. There is resistance, women, and from women, by the way, I find that there is resistance when you bring information around the womb and why women need to embrace the process of the womb throughout the month. Nobody resistance there unless or until a person awakens to something. By the time you are experiencing the blood, you know that that is a process that it's not I don't want to say the end, but you have been a maiden.
Yes.
You have been a maiden. You have been you have been you've brought your fire element, you've brought your water element, and now it is time for you for the crones in you, to express and connect with the earth. So it's women are healers. Women are healers in that way. Women are healers in a way, we carry the medicine. Yeah, we carry the medicine.
That's what we bring to the table.
Yes, I carry the medicine. You can meet a man who is successful, but if you are awakened and you know what to bring to the table, that man will go from successful to prosperous.
Yes.
Because success and prosperity are two different things, you see. So it's important that we have women, we have these conversations, and our conversations are not just but it's clickbait. It's our indoor must, a man must, our conversations, because even in those a man must, daughter must, you are speaking to yourself. A man is a provider. A man must provide. Before a man provides, or you meet a provider man, you have to activate the provider in you. You have to be that man that can provide for themselves, because we only meet who you are.
Yes.
You don't meet another, you meet who you are. So if you don't work with yourself, with that provider energy within you,
Yes.
activate that provider energy, you are just going to keep meeting men who supply money, but they're not providers. Because provision is an energy.
Yeah.
Provision is an energy. There are men who don't have builder codes, they don't have provider codes, they don't have that energy.
Yes.
And that is why we have millionaires today who are feeding their children through the court system, because that person has got money, but they don't have the provider codes, they don't have the provider energy. So it's very important that in our discussions around love, families, and mujolo and manyalo, we need to elevate our argument. We can't be talking about one thing over and over and over and just wait around one thing. Let's elevate our arguments. Let's elevate our argument by understanding the energetics of everything, because everything starts in spirit before we can experience it in this 3D, in the physical world. Yeah.
Then what of sex work then?
What about?
Sex
About
workers.
Sex workers.
Yeah.
Sex workers are very, they are very awakened people, most of them. And why do I say this? I'm saying this from, the research that I have done around sex workers. I found that sex workers are very awakened in a sense, they know how to take care of themselves. I'm talking about sex workers, not just people who are on survival mode, who are using their sexual energy to survive.
Okay.
There's a difference also, right? A sex worker is a person who understands that they are a temple, what they bring to the table, and what's the exchange, the energy exchange. Now, there is a sex worker who is doing it from survival. Or I'll just give it to you, just give me money so that I buy bread, So, a sex worker is a person that understands their energy. It is a person that understands, when I give you my sexual, or when I receive the sex from you, I am also giving you energy, and the exchange, that energy is this or that or how much, And so the research that I have done, I have found that, wow, these people actually, they know the importance of having a tight vaginal muscle. They take care of themselves. They know they know the importance of they know the importance of taking care of themselves and bringing that beauty, because beauty is dangerous also, Beauty is dangerous. They know the importance and how to bring that beauty in a way that is not unconscious, but in a very conscious way. They know how to tap into their feminine energy. They are very conscious. To be a sex worker, I'm telling you, it's work. It's not I have a vagina and here it is. You can take it for cheap or for money.
Yes.
It is work. They have to go into their femininity. They have to go into their receiver mode. They have to go. They have to learn all of that, right? And that is why there are sex workers. They are even, they grow into that industry of sex worker until, when you look at their lives, you're like, wow, this industry has really worked for you. There's a woman that I follow, and she talks about, she's a madam. She's got a company that,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So she always talks about these things, she's based overseas, and she always talks about these things and how powerful men would come to her space because they want her sex workers. They want these women because her workers are trained into the energetics of what they do. So sex workers, honestly, I think that with awareness, because that's the one profession that's been there since biblical times. If they pay, like we say, pay the manage. But I pay.
Nope.
I pay it.
It evolves.
It evolves.
It evolves,
yeah.
babes.
It evolves. It evolves, and now it's it really has evolved. Sex workers no longer call themselves sex workers.
Yeah.
They call themselves influencers.
Yes.
They call themselves names. So that is how much it has evolved. But when you look at those people, there is awareness. And their awareness, it's so deep that they even understand the spirit world. That is why they will go to spiritualists, to maintain the work that they do. So survival, again, let's talk about survival.
Yes.
A sex worker was survival. That is a sex worker who is just working for their root, for their root chakra.
Yes, survival.
Survival.
Base.
Yeah, survival. So it's a sex worker who's just there, at least enjoy their root, and that's it. And then what happens? All that energy, force of gravity takes. All of that energy, everything that they've worked for, force of gravity takes. The force of gravity will take everything. It will even take you. You see, it will even take you under. So hamba phezu kwakho if you are not opening up and awakening to the totality and the wholeness bujotle of what you are and what you do.
Sure.
Yeah.
What a fascinating discussion.
Yeah.
Thank you, Reverend Sophia.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. Hey, yeah, we talked about sex today.
I hope force of gravity hasn't taken our sexual energy to the genitals.
We're keeping it up here.
So that it becomes a medicine.
Yes.
It heals your being. It heals your being.
Because sex is important.
It is.
We even get moody when we haven't had sex.
Yes. Yeah. And why do we get moody? Because
we need it.
Yeah, Chouti, there's something there. There's something a short down. There's something a short down. So yeah.
I wonder how often should we be having sex? Because this is a medicine, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is a medicine. It is a medicine.
I must take my meds.
Yes. Yeah. But kasuthu bare musadi o sa robalweng o na le no laga.
We get very bitter.
Yeah.
We get bitter. I see myself even on social media when I'm like, hey, this tone. I need sex.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the beautiful thing about it is that you don't have to be doing it with another.
Yes.
You are a sexual
exactly.
being. You are a sexual being. And when you own your sexuality, you become a person that doesn't give people keys to your sexual kingdom.
That's
fact. For you've given this person the keys, when they leave, wow, the sexual aspect, the sexual kingdom, how this person has left with the key. What? No. Own your sexuality.
I wish we knew this when we had been younger.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I've given too much energy out there.
Yes. And that's why we need to then teach it to the young ones to say, when this happens, just know that it doesn't mean that it's something that you must go explore with another person.
Yes.
It's something that you can explore by yourself, but also don't waste it, because it's such medicine. It is a portal of creation. Create.
Yes.
Create with it.
Demystifying masturbation.
Yes. Yes.
We need to be okay with it.
Yeah.
Sure. Big things are going, guys. Umoya light, umoya bright. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing, guys. And a reminder to watch the adverts all the way till the end. And thank you to the members who are paying every single month to make sure that our lights stay on. We'll see you again next time.
Who are you when all you were has been diluted by lies and white lines cancelling out all that which has been written of your history? Why do you look at yourself as a mystery? Doesn't the sun shine because you open your eyes? Doesn't the moon stay situated within the same stars your DNA sparkles off? Your spirit knows that surely corner into it off. Buza umoya so you may return to being well off. Because spiritually you are rich, yet your ancestors cry because you are out of reach. But yours is to command all elements while God takes inspiration from the very mirror she looked at to become. Remember who you are and never finish just when they think that with you they are done.